Wake y'all asses up. Good morning. Good morning, y'all. I am Wanda Swan, and I am talking to you live today, host of Saturday Morning Coffee Chats as a part of Start By Talking LLC. How goes it, y'all? It's been a bit of time. I missed ya. Um, but I've also been very, very busy. You hear that acrylic? I'm deciding to let my nails grow in the pandemic, or as we say, the Pangea, the Panorama, the Panini. So these are mine. I've got a heart overlay on it. And, you know, as I continue to move out of these white center spaces, right, with having my own business now that's doing very, very well, mostly thanks to people like y'all. I so appreciate um, we call Start By Talking our pandemic baby because it started right around the same time as the pandemic, and it was a business that a lot of people, a lot of my friends, a lot of folks who really, really care about me, some folks who are no longer in my life who I think didn't care about me, but were only wanting to try to contain me. Didn't think I should do. They thought it was a gamble, especially given that there are so many billion-dollar companies, million-dollar companies that went belly up during the pandemic. They're like, I don't think this is a good idea. And you mean to tell me that you were going to do this when all these companies are going belly up? Are you crazy? Um, because who would pay for this is what I constantly got, right? Who would pay for this? Who is going to pay for you to tell them all of the ways that they're racist? Um, you need to find another dream. So I'm so happy for folks like you. I don't know if y'all can hear my hellhounds. It is Saturday, and Saturday is magical, and they can never get enough of the outside. So they struggling. Um, so I thank y'all. I thank you all sincerely. Also, you haven't seen me in a while. There's still a whole tree in my yard. We've experienced some damage from the storm that happened a couple weeks ago. And I've been in between working with building some very new things that are coming and onboarding new staff. She got staff. She got staff. She got staff. Uh, uh, uh. And this whole ass tree in my yard, like right here at my window, I can see it. My landscaper came by yesterday. He was just like, what you want me to do? And I'm like, do what you can. We're waiting to get the tree removed. So um, it's been kind of busy around here, y'all. And then I went home to see my parentals, my mom, my aunts, and I we celebrated the anniversary of my late grandmother's birthday. Um, it was an emotional time. It was also really weirdly, it was a weird time. I had an issue, a strong conversation with an aunt about what I do. Um, she's a white assimilated person of color, so she struggles. She's struggling with me saying publicly that all white people are racist. And I'm like, I don't know what you expect me to do. I'm in a singing mood today. I don't know why. I'm really happy. Y'all, I'm really, really happy despite all of the things that are going on, despite the panorama that is out at our door, despite the fact that there are still people who are trying to call this vaccine a conspiracy theory and microchipping. Go get vaccinated. Go get vaccinated, right? Um, so what else am I doing? I'm writing now. I stopped writing, y'all. I stopped writing a bit ago because I got scared. I didn't want to. I was like, actually, what happened, I'm going to be completely honest, my coaching clients know this because I say this often. I read a lot of Black scholars, and I read Tracy McMillan Cottom, and I read Isabel Wilkerson, and I was like, let me just put my pen down, bitch, because um, they got it covered. Like, they got it down. Um, and I became very intimidated. And so I decided that there was no room for what I had to say. And so I stopped writing for a while. Then people ask me, oh, where's the book are you writing? And I'm like, sure, when I can. I wasn't writing shit. And um, and I ended up going to Nashville maybe 3 weeks ago now. So, oh my God, y'all, my life has been a whirlwind. I'm just sitting back like, shit, I was in Mississippi last week. This time last week, I was in Mississippi. A couple of weeks before that, yeah, a couple weeks before that, I was in Nashville and Treeville, and I'm born. Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot that's going on. I was in Nashville. Uh, my sister still gets her hair done in Nashville, so once every like 2 months or a month and a half, we'll go and have like a Friday road trip because Fridays are usually our Saturdays. Sorry, y'all. This coffee ain't doing it today. I gotta drink some more. Um, so my sister has her loctician who has been doing her hair for ages. And she also used to do my hair when I lived in Nashville. So she's not going to let her go. If y'all don't know, Black women will stick with a beautician child. Yes, Lord. It'll take an act of Congress or a great betrayal for someone to leave. And as someone who recently left their old loctician due to a great betrayal, I can tell you what I'm talking about and give you proof. Anywho's this. So we went there. I decided to have lunch with some really great coworkers I used to work with when I worked at Vanderbilt. And my sister decided to spend time with her kids and her grandkids. And so we kind of split up. And I went to lunch with these amazing folks that got caught up on everything that I missed since I used to work there in the early 20 teens. And y'all, higher ed is still raggedy as shit, y'all. And also, though, it was a really great opportunity for us to talk, right? One of my friends just had a book published, just ready, gonna be ready this summer to come out. I can't wait. I got my queens. Cara Tutta Bell is amazing professional, anti-violence professional who has been working within higher ed for some time, and her work has always, in some way, since been centered around women's autonomy, women's rights, um, anti-violence work, uh, anti-racism work. And so it's just a lot of those pieces through the lens of someone with a JD, right? And also how the law contributes and sustains anti-Blackness and other forms of discrimination against marginalized and minoritized folks. So she's writing a book. And we were talking about that as she also was like, it's time for your book. it's time for your what are you doing? And so when you're sitting in 2 hours of this, right? 2 hours of this conversation, and she's like, I'm another white woman in the world. My book is going to be great. Also, people need to hear you, because people need to hear your voice. And so I'm writing. I feel like if I downplay it, it makes it easier for me to go back to. I'm writing, sure. Something about what it's like to be an anti-oppression coach in my first year as an anti-oppression coach. And so it should be funny. It should be touching. It should be informative. And it should be done when it's done. So we'll see. It's going to be about the things that I learned about white folks. Yeah. And whiteness and how that thing be thangin', I hear y'all. So we'll see. That's about all I can say about that, because that's about all I know. I'll keep you updated though. So today I'm taking a little bit of break um from the packets, right? So we talked about culture. We talked about for those patrons who had the opportunity to download like the packets that I designed for you all to think about how your culture benefits from white supremacy. I had promised to move into another place, move into another section of discussion, but something kept nagging me. It's like, yo, this is not enough. This is not enough. Like, we have to talk about white culture a little bit longer than this, right? We gotta, you're moving too fast. So slow it down. And so I want us to stay here, right? We've done our worksheets. You all should have those, have access to those, have had that done and completed. You've done your reflection questions, your writing. And at this point, let's continue this discussion. Fatphobia. We're going to throw monkey wrench into this shit today. We're going to talk about fatphobia and its connection to anti-Blackness, right? So if, for those who follow me, and shout out, I think I hit 1,000 followers today on Instagram, which is like, oh, I'm so used to people unfollowing me. So this is the thing. I'm charming. You know it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I'm charming. And there are folks who, hear the accent. I'm Southern as shit. And who also like how I present, how I come into this world, into the space, and charismatic, and people like it because I have confidence in what I say and who I am and all those things. And so I get a lot of likes. I get a lot of follows often. Like, people really, like to hang with me. But I also get a lot of unfollows when I post my shit, when I post my real shit. Not my purple carrot cooking challenge, for folks who are not familiar. So my goal was to become 80% plant-based, right? I can't let go of bacon. Like, breakfast is not breakfast without bacon for me, but I can give you 80% of my time dedicated to a plant-based lifestyle. So I do purple carrot challenges. I use the purple carrot subscription, and I often make meals. And Melissa, my sister, my business partner, rates them on a scale of 1 to 10, up to 5 points if it looks like the picture, up to 5 points if it tastes great or not, right? People love those things. They love, the reactions. They think it's great, blah, blah, blah. I get a lot of followers. And then, though, when they start scrolling down and looking at all the other shit that I talk about, they're like, wait a minute. I've been bamboozled. And they leave. And sometimes it's a mass exodus, right? And so, what I realize is that people love it when I post pictures of the dogs. People love it when I do purple carrot challenges. People love it when I'm just out here being my old country self, um, experiencing life in the moment with them. They don't like it when I think, and they don't like it when I give um, critique to social issues. Go figure. Go figure. So yeah, so I never expected to get 1,000 likes. I never expected to nothing. So, I really I don't really pay that much attention to it because it always fluctuates. Um, but I noticed today, I got up today and had some messages, some DMs and stuff on Instagram, and I went back to my page and I was like, "Who got 1,001 likes? Oh shit, y'all ain't running away." We'll see what happens next week, but thanks. Uh, so we are going to talk about fatphobia and its links to anti-blackness. So this has come up so much this week. Um, Lizzo just dropped her new single, Rumors. Amazing video. If you are a fan of the Hercules cartoon with the muses, they're gonna be your shit. Okay? They're gonna be your shit. I loved the muses. I loved Hercules. I loved Hercules for the muses. I didn't love the muses for, it was just soulful. They was dope. And they made the cartoon for me. And so Lizzo brought all that to life. Lizzo with Cardi. So Cardi B is in this, and they're talking about all the rumors that you heard about them. And, I think it's interesting. I've been in this space recently too, where there's been just a lot of change up in my personal life. Over the past year or so with people transitioning in and out, and me transitioning people out in necessary ways as I grow and rise to be closer to be my higher self. And, I got to a point this year where I said, I don't I don't dispel rumors. Whatever it is that they say that I did, that's fine. It's fine. I don't care. I don't clear them up at all. I don't clear up rumors no more. I don't explain myself no more. People have the right to feel how they feel. People have the right to believe what they like. I no longer clear up rumors about me. And I've been in that place for quite some time. And when you're doing this work, um, I transitioned from a space of no. I need to let me explain why I feel that way. No. I can't. I don't want you to think that way about me. No. That's not what I said. That's not what I did. I don't care anymore. I'm at a place now where I am very solid and standing. I am also working in a system that I created that loves me and that centers what's best for me and mine. And I don't have to prove anything to anybody. So I don't clear up rumors. If people are upset about something, I'm also a very straightforward person. I think that also helps. And as my mom used to say all the time, I stutter. So whatever I said once, I say it again. I repeat myself. And so I don't leave space for there to be much confusion. And if confusion still comes from that, that's not on me. And whoever is on, it's on them to do whatever they need to do. And if creating things about other folks is how people deal, that's fine. It's not even I don't care. So they came out with a song that really speaks to that. And so um, given those changes that's happened in my life, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling this. Yes, this is exactly what I've been rocking. This is the vibe I've been on for a little bit of time now. So Lizzo and Cardi, two very controversial figures, for the same reason, but also some different reasons, right? And a lot of the a lot of the critique that comes to them, that's brought to them, is based in the same anti-Blackness. It's based in the same beauty ideal. It's based in the same standard of living that this bubble, this box, that folks who identify as they identify and look the way they look should be in. And it's a really interesting thing to see them both in one video. And so rumors dropped. It dropped at midnight earlier this week. I'm old. I didn't catch it at midnight. I called it the death boy day, okay? Because I was like, oh, so tired. Oh, I'm so tired. So no, I did catch it at midnight, like like the boppers do. Um, I caught it the next morning, and it's amazing. So if y'all have not seen "Rumors" by Lizzo, featuring Cardi B, please do. It's dope. Um, but it also sparked a lot of conversation. So Lizzo does this wonderful thing where what she always does, right? She uncomfortably, for some folks, reminds people that the body image that is set to norm in this society is an option, right? And not only that, it's a strategy for a larger purpose. And so she does this in this video, um, by redesigning or subverting this idealized beauty physique, this physical standard of acceptable body, by reimagining the body types in ancient Greece, right? So you have the Greek statues of the very athletic men, right? They are now fat bodied folks, right? So she opens it up with, and it just makes me giddy. My cheeks are just, yeah. It makes me happy. She opens it up, right? You have this, this image of her on a Grecian urn, and there are two fat bodied male Greek statues, right? With the belly, and it's just wonderful. And it's beautiful. And so you see that all throughout the video, right? You see all of these depictions that subvert this idealized standard of quote unquote normal size folks. And all of the other goddesses and muses that accompany them are also fat body folk. And then you have Cardi, who's pregnant, belly out. It's beautiful. You got to see it. You have to see it. She gives a shout out to Sister Rosetta Tharpe, one of the founders of rock and roll, right? The foundation of rock and roll. It's beautiful. I'm all in my feels about it. I'm up to my ears and feels about it because it is such a beautiful, it is a beautiful video. Very creative. So, of course, Lizzo comes out, Lizzo breathes, Lizzo moves her body, Lizzo shows her body in any way, and here comes the haters. I just rather be healthy. To each his own, healthy, right? And it's like that's not at all what this is about. And so I also had a client this week. Y'all know I'm an anti-oppression coach, so I work with white people in interrogating their relationship with anti-Blackness and the ways in which they take those messages that they've learned and the beliefs that they have that are rooted in anti-Blackness into their workspaces, into their communities, and how it impacts folks around them and them as well. And so I had a client this week talk about the fact that she is fatphobic. We are talking about beauty standards. We're talking about whiteness as gatekeeping, as a gatekeeper for beauty, ideal beauty standard, and how it its sole purpose is to create spaces where Blackness cannot enter. Right. So I I was talking to my client this week and she said something that was really interesting. She said, you know, I can admit being anti-Black faster than I can admit being fatphobic. And she goes on to say that she mm, she goes on to say that fat bodied white women anger her, or she has no pity for them. She is confused and as to why they exist that way, and she judges them harshly. And she categorizes their education, their access to resources, all those things. It's like, oh, I know exactly who you are. Because you're fat body, you have to be low education, low socioeconomic status, Trump supporter, anti-vaxxer, all of those things rolled into one, which I think is really interesting. Now, when I asked her about fat Black women, fat Black folks, she says that she is very comfortable with fat Black bodies, fat Black women specifically, and she feels differently about fat Black women as she does fat white women. And once we dug into it, it really boils down to this: well, fat Black women can't help it. There's so many things against them already, right? Um, but fat white women can help it. So I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because it got real interesting. So, oh, that's good. Watch out now. Um, so a couple things. I said that's interesting. I said, so the only response you have to white women, fat bodied white women, is harsh critique. The only response you have to fat Black women is pity. What happens when you see a skinny Black woman? Because this is also someone who stated that if she's in a room with someone who's smaller than her, she's automatically judging herself for not being enough. Because these are the messages she received when she was growing up. The worst thing that you could do is start out small and end up big later in life, right? That's the worst thing. And um, so we talked about that a little bit, and I said, and she made a mention. She said that she was talking with a friend about Issa Rae, and my hair is so heavy, y'all, and it's a little wet, so I keep moving it around because it sticks. It is like, ugh, leave me alone. Uh, Hellhounds, y'all. Someone must be upon us. Is someone coming up the driveway? No. Okay. Angered hellhounds. Um. Anywho, so she said she was talking to her friend about Issa Rae and how talented and wonderful she is. And her friend said, and she's beautiful. And she said, is she? I never noticed. And so she said, I had to go back and I had to find Issa Rae. Now, Issa Rae smaller than her guest? So went back, looked at a picture of Issa Rae, and really had to be like, oh, I don't think I've seen her, but I've never noticed her before, right? So this is interesting to me because we have someone who has a very strong reaction to white fatness, has a very interesting reaction to black fatness, but completely erases blackness when it's not fat. Like completely erases or disassociates blackness from beauty, period, when they're not fat, right? And so we had to have this discussion on how fat phobia is rooted in anti-blackness. And so when you are fat phobic, you're also being anti-black. And so it may be hard for you to admit that you're fat phobic, but that you're but you are anti-black, right? So if you're saying that it's not hard for you to admit being anti-black, but it's hard for you to admit that you're fat phobic, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. And so we had a really good conversation about that. One of the things that I brought up in that conversation, hellhound mania, y'all. Sorry. One of the things that I brought up in that conversation was this wonderful book by Sabrina Strings called Fearing the Black Body. So it's called Fearing the Black Body, the racial origins of fatphobia. Fearing the Black Body, the racial origins of fatphobia. And guess which book we're going to go to next once we finish with this one? Fearing the Black Body. It's what I told my client. So and this book specifically, right, talks about the presentation of Black women's bodies and how they were used specifically to justify slavery. So as enslaved Africans were brought into the colonies, in case y'all, just to give you a little bit of insight, i.e., go get the damn book. It's a wonderful read. As enslaved Africans were brought into the colonies, differences in skin tone, body size, structures, and shape became almost apparent to the ruling class of Europeans who had settled in the colonies, right? The growing opinion was that African women's bodies were not organically this way. So they saw these women coming off of these slave ships, right? They literally, Black hostages were brought and they had never seen Black feminine bodies look like this before. So they weren't an expert on it, but were able to make an expert opinion. And the opinion was that the presence of large hips, large butt, etc., must be the result of oral excesses or gluttony. And they figured that it showed a lack of self-control and immorality. And so they automatically, as these enslaved hostages were coming off the slave ship, right? They already started saying, oh, their body looks this way because of something that they did. This is not what Black bodies look like. Clearly, these folks are immoral, and clearly they are ruled by their own temptations. They have no discipline. And these are people that are less than us, right? And so, as an additional marker to distinguish Blackness from whiteness and justify the enslavement and the genocide of a whole ass people, right? European women were encouraged by the church to make their bodies slender as an extension of their faith and morals, because white women, European women at that time, were also quite larger than the white standard of beauty of today. Everybody around that motherfucker was fat. Okay? Everybody fat. But it's just that black women's body shapes were more round, larger in some areas, and it was a shock to colonizers. So these women, these European women, afraid of being associated with enslaved African women, complied with the church. And so over time, thinness and grace and class and purity, right, became associated with whiteness, while fatness, a lack of self control, laziness became a signifier for blackness. So I want you to let that sink in for a minute as you think about the messages you've ever gotten about your body, and how many of those benefits of diet culture that we've all succumbed to blindly serve white comfort and ultimately white supremacy. And I want you to think about one thing that I realized in my coaching. So I also had the opportunity in my career to coach a very well known, highly successful weight loss company that I won't name, multi-million dollar company. And I had the opportunity to talk about this with them. I worked with the leader of this company, the CEO, the founder, as well as um, the lead coaches, weight loss coaches, top weight loss coaches for this company. Now, their job was to work one-on-one with women who were trying to lose weight. They met with these women weekly. They created goals together, all these things. These white women, whenever we met, I would always introduce myself as a fat, black, nappy feminist. And they cringed at me claiming the F word. They cringed at the word fat, right? And when they heard me, oh, I have to sneeze. Sorry, y'all. Nope. Wait. Nope. Lies. When they heard me identify as fat, um, they automatically came to my rescue. Oh, no, no. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. I was like, bitch, I don't. I didn't say I was ugly. I said I was fat. Both of those things are true. Um, and there's nothing wrong with either one of those things. So I want you to think about that for a moment. I want you to think about what fat means, how fat sits in your culture, um, and what you have been told to do with that word. And so when I had this conversation with my client, specifically, we talked about the ways that beauty standards always cater to whiteness as the ideal standard. And it is a system that sets, and this is something that Dr. McMillan Cottom talks about, right? How beauty is a construct centered in whiteness that very much appeases white supremacy by creating a structure that white men benefit from, that white women are the gatekeepers of, right? And so white women are playing this game of Come on, there's room for you. Come, 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 come on, come on. You're so close. You're almost there. Move the goalpost back a little bit. Come on, come on, come on. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Oh my gosh, you're so amazing. Hurry, 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 hurry. We don't want to close the door. No, no, no. You're so beautiful. Keep trying. Oh my gosh, you're almost there. Move it back a few more feet. Come on, come on, come on. Right? And how when we're talking about Black women specifically, that the beauty construct that is set up is a construct that Black women could never fare in. Now, are there exceptions to the rule? Are there Black women who are accepted in this, right? Sure. Because whiteness needs to, every once in a while, the thing about whiteness that is amazing is that whiteness will assign value to non-white folks just to keep, to special non-white folks, just to keep the race running, right? So Beyonce's beautiful. She did it. Meg Thee Stallion is beautiful. Nicki Minaj is beautiful. You're so close. There are people who almost look like you. Come on, you're so close. Come play with us, right? But whiteness does that. Whiteness assigns value to non-white folks when there is something that whiteness needs from non-white folks to get a larger number of non-white folks to succumb to whiteness. And I posted the video rumors on my personal Facebook page and was very excited about it. And I had a family member to say, to each his own, I would rather be healthy. And so I had to have a conversation in that space because, one, like, my followers and friends were going in. And so I was like, okay, y'all, I get it. Yep, they're still my family though. So let's, I hear you. Now, she don't get no passes, but we can talk better to each other in general. But also, it's important to understand that when we define safety by weight, right, or if we define healthy by a certain weight, what we're really doing and what Tracy is saying that white women are doing, because white women are so invested in being gatekeepers, because it raises the stock on them, right? If Black women don't want to be the ideal standard of beauty, what the fuck does that tell white women about the ideal standard of beauty? One thing my mama used to always say, and I think we can attribute that here. She says, don't nobody want a man that don't nobody else want. And she says, I don't want a man that nobody else wants. And when you think about that in terms of this structure, right, in terms of this system of whiteness, that's what it's run on. And white women gatekeepers need to be able to say that they're pulling somebody up into and making them feel really good about being ... Because nobody wants something that someone else doesn't want. Yeah. And so I think that is the entire piece of that, right? I think that's a really major piece that we don't think about when we think about this investment in beauty, right? There's never not been a time when some expression, some iteration of whiteness has not been deemed beautiful. I don't care what size you are. I don't care what height you are. I don't care what shape you are. I don't care. Whiteness is some iteration has always been beautiful. And if you have not seen that to be true, go back. Go back in history. Now, I also had white women, when I've said that, got very upset, very, very upset, saying, no, like, Like, I've struggled my whole life with this body. I've struggled my whole life with accepting who I am. Like, I'm a victim too. You're not in the way that you think you are. Okay. Yes. Does whiteness, and for those who've been with me for quite some time, those who have coached with me, those who have trained with me, what I say around the proximity to whiteness is that white supremacy don't love none of us. And so, is there harm that you experience? Yes, as white women, of course. Even though when you uphold the system, even though you benefit from it, you still sacrifice. There's still a sacrifice that you have to give, and that comes in the form of harm. Yes, the system harms you. Of course, the system harms you. But what you feel is not what Black women experience. This is a whole, complete othering. And it is an othering that you play a large part in. You are the gatekeepers. Patriarchy tells us all what's beautiful. White women take the charge. And it tells us what's beautiful. It assigns beauty, right? And it always looks like some iteration of white woman. White women take that charge, sit right at the gate, and says nobody else can come in unless you also subscribe to this. But you got to keep trying. You have to keep trying, because the need, the try, the desire, the want is what keeps this alive. And if it keeps it alive, it keeps white women's stature in this system intact. I had a client this week who said, whiteness is a multi-level marketing scheme. And it just made my entire life, because it is. It is. So, I'm interested in hearing what y'all got to say. I am interested in seeing how this sits within you. So, leave comments. For my patrons, please, please, please make some comments on the page. Let me know kind of where you're sitting with this. If want me to continue to have further conversations about this, if there's some other topics that you want to talk about, feel free to engage. Yeah, and I'll let you have the rest of your Saturday back. It's beautiful today, as you can see. Even though there's a huge tree out here, you can't see it because it is so bright. Look at that. It's so bright. Let's see if I can. Oh, y'all. Let me see if I can let you see the tree. It is so bright out here. Let's see here. We get a little bit more foliage. Foliage. Can we see it? Okay. Oh, it's happening. All right. So the tree is right here. Do you see the, yeah, the tree is right up in here. Yeah. So the ground, right here. Wait, right here. This tree. Tree, tree. Tree, tree, tree. Let's see. Let's go around a little bit. More tree, 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 tree. So this is my outdoor patio, or it was. This is all tree. Fell tree. Right here. Right there. It's a beautiful day, but I can't sit out on the patio. Fell tree. And it's not my tree. So I need to go, because I need to go talk to the neighbors, because they told me that they was going to get that thing moved because it's their tree, and it fell from their property onto mine. So it is an intrusive dead tree now that has obstructed my landscaper from doing his job that I still had to pay him for, because it is not his fault that a tree got in the way of his production, right? So I'm gonna go talk to my neighbor and see what's the ETA on getting this tree out of my goddamn yard. And I want y'all to have a really good Saturday. Love each other. Get vaccinated. Wear your mask. Double up, triple up. knuckle up, whatever. Please, please, y'all. We all have to be on the other side of this, okay? Much love to y'all. Thank you. And I will see you next time.